Good, the Bad, and the Ugly is a 1966 spaghetti western film that's written and directed by Sergio Leone. So The Good, and the Bad, and the Ugly is a $50 patron request from Jesus Perez, which most of you guys know as Perry. And Perry this year told me that he is determined to force me to watch and review a lot of the essential classic films that I have yet to see. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly is one of those films that is pure cinema blasphemy if you have not seen it yet. And I'm unfortunately committing blasphemy because up until this point, I had not seen The Good and the Bad and the Ugly. And to add insult to injury, I have also not seen a Sergio Leone film either. So this is my first Sergio Leone film. And I know that's, you go wild in the comment section if you want. But I'm just going to cut right to the chase. A lot of people already know so much about this film. It's been talked to death already. But I'm just going to dive straight into my feelings about this film. This film is brilliant. This film was absolutely amazing. I definitely understand why it's praised so much. I definitely understand why Sergio Leone is praised so much. I had an absolute blast with this film. There are endless things about this film that I truly enjoyed and just found so incredibly entertaining, so incredibly engaging, and just from the top down, everything is just brilliant stuff. I mean, brilliant filmmaking. The writing in this film, in terms of the characters, the story, just all the dialogue is just beautiful stuff. The direction is honestly probably my favorite thing about this film, because this film, not only is it just shot incredibly well, and not only are shots themselves just incredibly iconic, but this film is absolutely dripping with creative style. And just from like the first few minutes, I was like, yeah, Tarantino, for a damn sure fact, is hugely inspired by Sergio Leone, because throughout this entire film, it felt like I was watching a Tarantino film. And it's crazy that it took Tarantino so long in his career to craft a Western, because it just seems like a lot of his films take huge inspiration from Sergio Leone Westerns in terms of how music is incorporated, in terms of how characters are presented and written. Just the overall style of this film reminded me so much of Quentin Tarantino. And it's so obvious that, now watching a lot of older filmmakers and learning more about Tarantino's influences, it's so incredibly apparent how much Tarantino wears his influences on his sleeve. And I'm not trying to dog on Tarantino and say that he's not original, because I'm not really somebody who thinks that if you wear your influences on your sleeve means that, you lack your own kind of creative effort and your own creative style. Because to me, all that matters is the film effective? And did he make his influences really work in his own advantage? And was he still able to create his own product, even though he's clearly influenced by filmmakers like this? And to me, I feel like Tarantino still, even though his influence had become incredibly apparent with the more I watch other filmmakers like Wong Kar-wai and Sergio Leone, doesn't really detract from the fact that I still think he's able to craft his own kind of films and approach them in his own kind of way, despite the fact that, I think he draws some really apparent and deep influences from these filmmakers. But anyway, that's a tangent. This is not a video about Tarantino. This is about The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. But yeah, this film is absolutely dripping with style. And just throughout the entire film, you're just like, damn, every single aspect of this film has a vision, has a personality. And Sergio Leone is one of those filmmakers that you can tell is just dying to tell stories and dying to portray the characters and, breathe life into them on the big screen. And this is just a perfect case of just that. And I really can't wait to dive into more of his work because, to a lot of people, yes, they love The Good and the Bad and the Ugly, but they say that pretty much every Sergio Leone film is going to give you endless amounts of stuff to be entertained by. and really appreciate. And just for the time that this came out in, it's absolutely mind-boggling just how he was able to craft his own style in this way and make a film so entertaining. And what's also beautiful about it is that, like, I don't remember there being much dialogue, like, in the first 15 minutes. And even though this film does have plenty of dialogue, it's not reliant on anything that's dialogue heavy, because there are some really intense sequences in this film, especially like in the first 15 minutes. You have this one scene where the bad is presented in this really just awesome, really intense way that introduces you to his character in the best way you could ever be introduced to a character. And I just love that, because all of the characters, the good, played by Clint Eastwood, the bad, played by Lee Van Cleef, I think is how you say it, and the ugly, played by Eli Wallach, all their characters are presented to you in a way to where you get this really great idea of who they are as a character. And that just is consistent throughout this entire film. You also get to learn more about them, the relationships that are fleshed out and the relationships that are grown in this film. Is just really satisfying stuff, and it offers so many memorable and iconic scenes, like scenes that you would honestly never even see in films today. Like, how often do you get a scene where a Mexican bandit punches his priest brother in the face? You just don't really get scenes like that often. And this film offers a lot of just really unique and memorable stuff like that throughout the entire film that just makes this an incredibly engaging and fun watch from start to finish. And I also just love what this builds up to in the end of the film. You get this amazing, like, fast draw, duel kind of sequence in the ending of this movie that was just so much fun to watch. It's really intense and engaging stuff to where you don't know where these characters are going to end up. You don't know which route this film is going to take. And it's just this really fun and unpredictable journey filled with incredibly fun and memorable moments that, again, just has this really fun style to it that is incredibly impressive for the time that this film came out. What I will say about this film, and it's something that is super obvious, I'm not saying anything new here, something that everybody knows about Italian cinema, the dubbing is absolutely atrocious. And I totally get why that is. Sergio Leone had to film in Italy for a lot of reasons, and the only American actors he has are the three main actors, and everyone else in this film is basically Italian, and they don't know how to speak English, so basically he just got everyone to speak in Italian, and he just dubbed over that in English later, and obviously that makes it really awkward, and it just makes it to where you obviously know that this is dubbing.
You can sure consider yourself much luckier than your pal. Wallace will punch your friend as long as the song goes.
And I'll be lying if I told you that it wasn't noticeable, because it's incredibly noticeable. But it's something that you kind of just get used to, and at first it just caught me off guard, and I was like, why is it like this? Because I knew nothing about the making of this film. Basically, I had to ask my friends in the Discord chat, specifically Cynic, who knew more about the making of this film, that told me, you know, why the dubbing is the way it is. And then I was able to kind of like roll with it more and just kind of let it go. But just know that if you haven't seen this film yet and you're going to go into it, just know that the dubbing is horrible. But luckily, most of the film, you know, obviously has the three main actors, and they're American. So the dubbing is perfectly fine there for the vast majority of the film. But just beware of that, because it caught me off guard, and I was just like, what the hell? But yeah, this film is absolutely exhilarating. It's full of excitement, full of energy and style, and I definitely understand why this film is praised as much as it is, because this is a film that, no matter what time period you watch it, and you watch this 40 years from now, it's still going to be a film that people are going to come back to, because it's timeless. This is a timeless film, and it's because of that personality and that creative style, and just how brilliantly written it is in terms of character and story, that will always make this film a fun watch, no matter which era you live in. So I'm going to give The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly a 10 out of 10. How could I not get this film a 10 out of 10? I'm not going to lie, I was kind of debating on whether or not to give this just like a strong 9 or a 10. But because there were certain parts that I felt like I wasn't that interested in and was dragging just a little bit. But I'm 100% certain that when I get this a rewatch, like, that's going to vanish. So either way, yeah, I mean, sorry I didn't really add anything new to the conversation. This is a film that's already been, as I said, talked about to an insane degree. So I'm not really adding anything new to the conversation here. But those are just my thoughts on it. Obviously, I was destined to love this film. But I want you guys to comment in the comment section and tell me what you think is the next Sergio Leone film I should put like in a poll or try to give a watch. Because I obviously really enjoyed this film, and this is the only Sergio Leone film that I've seen, so... But anyways, with all that being said, if you really enjoyed what I had to say about the film, please give this video a thumbs up and share it amongst your friends. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel to be updated on more film-related content.